Hey guys, what's going on? I want to make this quick video. We're going to go over P1 in terms of positioning, just because things are a little bit different than the video I showed before, because I realized now that the video I showed before was the pre-nerf, so it had 3 circles instead of 2, for example, in the suck, and we're going to go over the P2 because it's pretty scripted for how it's going to go, and we can sort of see how that's going to go here. So we'll watch the Banchers POV. Obviously, they use the liquid pack, which is a little bit different, but the Northern Sky pack is a lot the same at this point. So we're just going to go over that. So the main thing about this is you're going to be landing. There's going to be marks on either side. Our big thing about this will be managing our cooldowns. We'll lust pull to prog to start, but you'll see that they do not lust pull, and they're going to end up holding in the end anyway. You don't really want to phase this boss until around 245, 250 out of P1. Something to keep in mind in the back of your head when you're debating your cooldowns, and I'll show where he does it. Hunter right now, what he's playing here is a 1-minute spec, so they end up doing a lot of holding and stuff like that. So the first knockback happens, and on this first knockback, the spreads, you're going to want to get as far over into your corners as possible. So all the range will take the back corner here. Melee will take the front corner up front. There's a healer up there, which is fine. But you see they make a nice little L, right? So everyone's on this wall and making a nice little L. They're then going to kill ads, and then they're going to soak, right? And then scary. Make sure you guys are looking up your DRs on Lorgs in terms of getting a good front. Now with only 2, they have 1 yelling front, 1 yelling back. That's great. If not, we can natty do it. If ours does not do that, it shouldn't be too hard. You just end up going near the marker like so, and you just stand one in front of the other. You'll notice that they pick up their hamburgers that we were talking about earlier after this debuff comes out. Reason for that is you cannot get the circle when you have the debuff, but you don't want to overlap where you're running to pick it up. You get the debuff, you pick up at the same time. Now you're sort of in a bad spot. So these will be assigned and picked up, and your weak orb will tell you that. They will select the first person, they will select the second person, and the second knockback happens. So on this second knockback, it's a little bit different from the first. In order to make sure we don't overlap where our marker is, this will be where you use your movement to not get knocked back. So you need to make sure you have it up for this one. So maybe you're able to disengage the first one every time, maybe you're not. But this will be one where he's disengaging. Warlocks would be porting to their port, and range are using their movement. Evokers could be gripping someone here, for example. We don't have any of those, which is sick. But the range will then stack up and there's 6 of them over here, and the melee will end up going over here. There's also melee in the middle. We can separate these as we need per platform. We can also natty do it on pull, but you'll pretty much get into your corner as much as you can, and you'll get, these are close to the tanks. You saw this in the first videos for some of the melee. And then this sort of leaves the middle of the platform free, which is what we need. Where again, because he can't cleave all 3, he's in the ad the farthest away. This one will cleave off boss, right? So it's good prio on his part. And then we just go front to back like so. And this is the one where we're going to end up gating to the middle for the knock. As soon as we gate, that puddle will disappear. We will all meet in the middle in a nice little purple safe pile. We need everyone here in order to live, and we do so. So I'm trying to see where his cooldowns come up in 23 seconds. So in 23 seconds, that's just after the 2-minute mark. You'll see he's probably going to hold these ones for going into P2. So this is something we're going to have to assess. And the reason being is that you do not want to kill the boss too early. So this will be our last spread though. And this is just hugging puddles that already exist towards the back. No one's using the ones over here in the middle. And then you'll still have a front of a platform to work with. And he's straight going to hold these. He will not use this Call of the Wild. You will see the boss is at 16%. It's 2 minutes in the fight. They need to pretty much hold for 30 to 40 seconds. So they're pretty much hard AFKing on the boss for the most part, and waiting for the next set. They will do the next set here, but you see the boss is just not taking very much damage. We don't want to push the boss early. Again, they're aiming for that 245 mark. It's still way after this knock, so these ads are going to spawn. You don't need to kill these ads. It's just free damage. So if you're looking to ramp some sort of trinket, you'll notice they natty spread, right? That's fine. They're not going to do the suck downs or anything. And now they are at 245. I believe they're going to kill right when this event spawns, which is fine. And that's it. So he held his 1 minute there. So depending on your spec, you're really going to have to see how this works, because you don't end up wanting to push the boss that early anyway. So you're all holding here probably for the first set going into P2. P2 flying. I haven't set up who's going to pick up orbs yet, so I can't really touch on that, but one of you will be designated for each orb. I'll make sure to post pictures in personal channels around that for who's picking up what orbs going into this phase. But this phase is overall pretty simple. So the mob, he's taking so much damage from people picking up the orbs and landing. That's why he's so low. The way this works is there's more adds, DKs will grip, tanks. The mob always stays here, and the ways 3 lines come out, they line up on people, and the main thing is you're just going to point them to the top of the platform. We will keep the big boss near the one we kill in the middle, and we just have to cleave all this down as fast as possible, making sure we kill all these. So cleave is very happy, and then we rotate to the other side. And then you have these 3 puddles. So we will have a week where like this, where you will be assigned a soak, like so. And their ranged always went farther away. Their melee went closest to the boss, right? So does that make sense? It kind of doesn't go with what the picture is here, because in my opinion, looking at the stoplight range would be over here, but that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what ours will look like, but the range, if it goes range, healer, melee, would end up looking like this, where the range are obviously the farthest players from the boss. And you have a little purple circle in here. You just don't overlap them to the best of your ability. Lines are still going to point straight up. We're going to kill the ad closest to the middle. Boom. And then there's going to be a pushback. This pushback got nerfed. This is the nerf version. So it's not too bad. Looks like just a little bit of movement will get you through. But you have to be walking against it at all times and not dying. So this part of the platform is obviously pretty full. So they will just point their lines away. They will again kill the guy in the middle to be safe. This void warding guy here. And they will use gate to get out and spread, and they will spread natty. And their range, no, they're always going to go the farthest. Healer circle was always going here. Melee circle is going here. If our yells work the same, I will double check this. We will do the same thing. This picture is again kind of confusing, but this is, we'll set something up like so. He's trying to take a double soak there, so it looks like you can live 2, which is great. And then they're killing. Again, down to CDs. You probably don't want to push that guy too early. We probably can't, but something to keep in mind. He's also at 15 nether prism stacks. He hasn't used one in a while. He says during this video that he was using nether prism sets on this next set of ads, but he ended up having to hold it for P3, right? So as our damage gets better, you can send it early, but you'll want to tailor that back as our damage gets more progressive, in terms of, being able to have damage for that last phase. So on this last platform, again, much of the same in terms of the options that are presented to us. The main thing here is now orb baits. So orb baits are baited on the raid, so we all bait them together like so, and they are going to come out one directly at the bait, one coming to the left here, and one coming to the right. And you will have a player to soak them. So these players will be assigned. They will say it on their head, right, middle, left, right? So the middle one would be the one most likely on the group right here. And as soon as this bait's done, you're going to rotate around close to the outside here. They will spread out like so. These orbs are coming out. You will soak your orb. They will drop poop. And that's it, right? We have another soak. So their picture is not anything like the way they're doing it, so they've managed to change that. I'll do our best to line it up so we can just follow the weak aura. But obviously melee will try to keep on the boss as much as we can. And the main thing is going to be cleaving down these void wardings as the range as we're rotating. You see that one died really early. That's good. They're going to have their pushback, and they're going to have one more orb bait, I believe, again here as well. So they're baiting orbs. They're going to all group together, pointing it towards the outside where there's room on either side. As soon as that bait goes away, they're rotating. These 3 people with DRs are going to soak, and then they're going to kill the guy in the middle just to be sure. They're going to do their 3, and we're good. They're going to kill here before the push. If this pushback happens, like so, you can fall off. It does not matter. This is just a healer healing phase. He's turning it to help his healers going into P3. But that's all of that. So that's all I really wanted to talk about today. I'll link this video in the description. I know they use the liquid pack, so it's a little bit different. But this will give us a better understanding of where our min-max in positioning should be for P1, so we're not really struggling like that. So just memorize the position for P1. We can see P2 and get some good prog. All right, see you guys Monday.